The second issue I would bring up is the just ridiculous number of self-help messages and pastors who have now turned more to a motivational speaker instead of a gospel-oriented preacher. Now, I am not saying hellfire and brimstone, tell everybody they're going to hell unless you say otherwise. Absolutely not. In no way. That's not what Jesus did. What I'm saying is that when we turn our messages, the one time a week, typically, that people come to church, and the vast majority of people come to church no more than 2 times a month. So, you get somebody like once or twice a month on average. And so instead of just planting seeds of the gospel, planting seeds of righteousness and helping them grow in their relationship with the Lord, you're sharing self-help messages and motivational messages. It seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, but go to your local bookstore, and especially if you've got a local Christian bookstore, and the 2 largest sections in that are Bibles. Okay, I'll give you that. But the biggest section that people actually buy the more books from than any other section is Christian Living. Christian Living is almost the largest section in any Christian bookstore of material. People do not want to walk in the wilderness with the Lord. They'd rather piggyback off of other people's experiences. And so thus sermons have followed suit. Ministers have learned that if you can make congregants feel better about themselves, they'll keep coming back, because they're being treated like blind sheep, and they're eating candy out of the hand of a worthless and useless shepherd. A shepherd that does not actually care about them, because if he did, he wouldn't just give them a self-help motivational message. He would give them the truth. A lot of pastors are not preaching against sin. They're not preaching about the reality of hell. Jesus talked more about hell than he did about heaven. And not to condemn people, but to help them understand the reality of what does exist in the afterlife. There is an afterlife. He talked about, he rejected self-righteous behaviors, and you preach against self-righteous behaviors, and people who are self-righteous will come after you, because you know what? They don't like figuring out that they're self-righteous. But all that preaching, it doesn't fill the pews. It doesn't fill the offering plates. And so those topics are often avoided because they're unpopular. And so when you have people who read the Bible and they realize, hey, this is not the gospel that Jesus preached, this self-help motivational message, this is not what Jesus preached, they get very angry and upset, and they are prone to reject the church that is deceiving them and lying to them and painting a different view of Christianity than what Jesus painted.